My husband said he was off to a boring family reunion in Denver. A few hours later, I saw his aunt's post, a grand engagement party, and there he was, in a tuxedo, smiling beside another woman. While they toasted with champagne, I quietly uploaded one photo that made every glass in that room freeze midair. I grew up in a small Midwestern town where family meant crowded tables, belly laughs, and no one left out in the cold. When I met Owen at a Denver marketing conference, his charm was a whirlwind. Those deep brown eyes, that easy smile, he made me feel like the only soul in a room full of strangers. We built a life together, my small-town heart tangled with his city polish. But his family, the Ramirezes, were a different breed. Old Denver money, their traditions as stiff as their starched collars. For years, I ignored the slights, the conversations that hushed when I walked in, the holiday plans made without a whisper to me, the smiles that never touched their eyes. I told myself Owen's love was enough to bridge that gap. But that morning, as he set his phone face down and muttered about a family thing, a familiar ache bloomed in my chest, the kind that comes from being a stranger in your own marriage. "Everything okay?" I asked, spreading raspberry jam on my toast, my eyes tracing the tension in his shoulders. "Just Mom," he said, too fast, his voice clipped. "Family's doing a little reunion in Denver this weekend. Nothing special." Nothing special. The words landed like a stone in my shoe. The Ramirezes didn't do nothing special. They planned Easter brunch 6 months in advance, sent embossed invitations for backyard barbecues. My throat tightened. "Which part of Denver?" I pressed, keeping my voice light, though my pulse betrayed me. "Oh, you know, the usual spot." "Like Dad's birthday last year," he said, turning to the coffee maker, his back a wall between us. "Just the old crowd, golf, boring finance talk. You'd hate it." I remembered that birthday. His father had droned about stock portfolios while his mother critiqued the restaurant's wine list. His sister, Vanessa, posted 16 photos of her dessert to Instagram, each captioned with smug delight. I'd smiled through it, pretending I didn't feel like a guest at my husband's family event. "Maybe I could come for a bit," I offered, testing the waters, my fingers gripping the knife a little tighter. "I don't mind the boring stuff if it's with you." Owen turned, and for a fleeting second, something flickered in his eyes. Panic, maybe guilt. It vanished so fast I questioned if I'd seen it. "Leia, you'd be miserable," he said, kissing my forehead, his lips cool. "Mom's already whining about the weather. Dad's got his golf clubs out. And you know Vanessa after a few drinks. Besides, didn't Sophie mention a ski trip?" He was right. Sophie, my coworker, had been begging me to join her and Tara in Breckenridge. I'd hesitated, not wanting to leave Owen, but his words felt like a nudge out the door. "I guess I could call her," I said, staring at his empty mug, the ceramic cold under my fingers. Something was off, like a chord strummed just out of tune. Maybe it was how quickly he'd grabbed his phone. Maybe it was how neatly he'd redirected me to my friends. Or maybe it was the whisper in my head, the one that had lingered for years. To his family, I was still Owen's wife, never quite Leia Ramirez. That evening, as we chopped vegetables for dinner, the unease clung to me like damp snow. Owen diced carrots with surgical precision, his eyes avoiding mine. "So, Breckenridge with Sophie and Tara," he said, his voice too casual. "Sounds fun." I nodded, brushing marinade onto chicken, our routine feeling hollow, like a script we'd rehearsed too many times. "Yeah, they're excited about the snow." "When do you leave for Denver?" "Friday after work," he said, scraping carrots into the pan. "Back Sunday night. Just family stuff. Nothing exciting." His words were smooth, polished, but they didn't land right. "Tell your family I said hi," I said, watching his face. He mumbled, "Sure," his eyes fixed on the stove, as if the sizzling carrots held the secrets of the universe. That night, I lay awake beside him, his steady breathing a lie of its own. Even in sleep, his shoulders were tense, and I wondered what he wasn't saying. I'd spent years trying to fit into his world, smiling at his mother's critiques, laughing at his father's dry jokes, pretending Vanessa's barbed comments didn't sting. I told myself it was just their way, that close-knit families could feel exclusive without meaning to. But the truth was sharper, like a blade against my skin. I'd been knocking on a door that was never meant to open. The Ramirezes had their traditions. Ski trips I wasn't invited to, group chats I wasn't in, stories they told when I wasn't there. Owen always said they'd come around, but lying there, the sheets cold against my skin, I wondered if he'd ever believed it. The next morning, Owen was gone before I woke, leaving a note. "Early meeting. Have fun skiing. Love you." The words felt flat, like a signature on a form. I packed my ski gear, trying to drown out the doubts, the hum of the zipper too loud in the quiet house. Before I left, I slipped a note into Owen's suitcase, a small heart with missing you in my neatest handwriting. It was silly, a fragile tether to the man I thought I knew. Looking back, I see how desperate it was, how much I wanted to believe we were still a team. Breckenridge buzzed with winter's pulse, pine-scented air, the crackle of a lodge fireplace, skiers laughing as they trudged through snow. Sophie and Tara claimed a table by the window, their energy a lifeline. "Leia, you're gonna love this," Sophie said, her eyes bright as the fresh powder outside. "The snow's perfect." For the first time in days, a spark of excitement flickered in me. We booked a cozy lodge, nothing fancy, just warm wood walls and hot cocoa that tasted like childhood winters. That first day, we tore down the slopes, the wind biting my cheeks, the world blurring into white. For a few hours, I forgot the ache in my chest, the nagging sense that something was wrong. But doubt has a way of creeping back, cold and relentless. That evening, by the fire's glow, I scrolled through Instagram, my thumb pausing on a notification from Owen's Aunt Linda. Her profile showed her in a glittering dress, a chandelier sparkling behind her. The caption read, "Celebrating Caleb's engagement. So proud." My heart stopped. Caleb, Owen's younger brother, engaged. I tapped the photo and the truth hit like an avalanche. It wasn't a reunion. It was a lavish party in Denver. White linens, floral centerpieces, a dance floor glowing under soft lights. There was Owen's mother, in a dress I'd helped her pick, raising a champagne glass. And there, in a corner, was Owen in a tuxedo I'd never seen, his arm around Caleb, both of them beaming. My husband at an engagement party I knew nothing about. An engagement party I wasn't invited to. The lodge's warmth couldn't touch the cold spreading through me. I zoomed in, my hands trembling. Owen's smile was wide, unguarded, the kind I hadn't seen in months. Vanessa's carousel of images was a gallery of betrayal, her in a sleek dress, Caleb proposing to Rachel, the family cheering. Owen giving a speech, his hand raised in a toast, while I was here 90 miles away, thinking he was golfing with his dad. Every image was a stab, proof I'd been erased. I called Owen, my thumb shaking as it hit his name. Voicemail after 3 rings. I tried again. Voicemail. Then a text. "Can't talk." 2 words, like I was an annoyance. Not his wife. "You okay?" Tara asked, her eyes narrowing. I couldn't speak, couldn't explain the betrayal clawing at my chest. I stumbled to the bathroom, gripping the sink, staring at my reflection. My cheeks were flushed from skiing, but my eyes were hollow, like someone had carved out the part of me that trusted. Was I invisible to him? To them? 5 years of marriage, and I was still the outsider, the wife who didn't fit the Ramirez vibe. Tears came, quiet, like something inside me was leaking out. I thought of the note I'd tucked into his bag, the heart I'd drawn while he planned to lie. Back at the table, Sophie and Tara watched me, their phones forgotten. "I need to ski," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "Until I can't think anymore." We hit the slopes again, the cold biting harder, the speed a temporary escape. But every pause brought the images back, Owen's tuxedo, his mother's champagne, the family's laughter without me. That night, I couldn't sleep, the betrayal replaying like a loop. By morning, Sophie dragged me to the summit, her optimism a lifeline. "Look at this view," she said, pointing to the endless peaks. The sun glittered on the snow, and for a moment I felt alive, unburdened. "Take my picture," I told her, standing against the mountains. She positioned me, the sunlight catching my hair, my face turned to the sky. When she showed me the photo, I barely recognized myself. Peaceful, strong, like the woman I'd forgotten I could be. I opened Instagram, my fingers hovering over the keyboard. I typed, "The mountains don't care who you are, they just let you be." I hit post, my heart pounding. It wasn't just a photo, it was a declaration. Within minutes, likes poured in, friends, coworkers, strangers, then a DM from Vanessa. "What's your deal?" My phone rang. Owen's mother. I let it go to voicemail. Another text from Owen. "You're embarrassing me." I laughed, sharp and bitter. Embarrassing him. He'd lied to my face, and I was the problem. Notifications kept coming. My cousin Maya in Denver reshared the post with a fire emoji. Comments stacked up. "You okay, Leia? Keep shining, girl." Then Sophie showed me a video from the party, tagged to me. Owen pulled aside by his father, his face tight, muffled words. "Your wife." Inappropriate. Family matters. My caption had reached them, a snowball crashing into their perfect night. I added a location tag, Breckenridge Summit, where the air is honest. The post exploded, shared by people I didn't even know. For the first time, I didn't feel invisible. I felt seen. Driving back to our Denver suburb, the mountain's clarity faded with every mile. My phone buzzed relentlessly. Comments, DMs, missed calls from Owen's family. Sophie and Tara offered to come with me, but this was my fight. I pulled into our driveway early, surprised to see Owen's car. The house looked the same, my potted plants, our wind chimes, but it felt like a stranger's home. I unlocked the door, my ski bag heavy in my hand. Owen stood in the kitchen, still in dress pants, his hair too perfect for a casual weekend. His arms were crossed, his jaw tight, like he'd been waiting to ambush me. "You made everything worse," he said, before I could set my bag down. The words hit like a slap. No apology, just blame. "Worse than what?" I asked, my voice low, deliberate. "Worse than lying about Caleb's engagement? Worse than excluding me from your family? Worse than letting me find out through Instagram?" He ran a hand through his hair, messing up that perfect style. "You don't get how complicated this is. Then explain it," I said, leaning against the doorframe, exhaustion settling in. "Why didn't you want me there?" He looked away, his silence louder than words. "Mom thought you wouldn't fit the vibe," he mumbled finally. "She wanted it perfect for Caleb." The truth cut deeper than I'd expected. "The vibe?" I repeated, laughing without humor. "The vibe where your wife exists? That's not fair," he said, his voice weak. "Fair?" I stepped closer, anger rising. "Was it fair to let me pack your suitcase with a love note while you knew I wasn't invited? Was it fair to lie so I'd stay out of the way?" His face paled. "You went through my stuff." "I didn't go through anything," I snapped. "I left a note because I thought you'd miss me." "Guess I was wrong." "Did you fight for me, Owen? When your mother said I wasn't welcome, did you tell her that was unacceptable?" He opened his mouth, then closed it, his eyes on the floor. That silence was my answer. I walked past him, up the stairs, the house feeling like a stage set for a life that wasn't mine. In our bedroom, I pulled my old suitcase from the closet, packing only what was mine: clothes, books, my grandmother's necklace. Owen stood in the doorway, watching. "I saw your note," he said quietly. "I kept it with me all weekend. I found it on his nightstand, crumpled, the heart I'd drawn mocking me. I placed it on his pillow, not a gesture of love, but a goodbye. I called Tara. "I need your couch," I said. "I'm there," she replied. When her car pulled up, I walked out with my suitcase. Owen sat on the stairs, head in his hands. "I didn't mean for this," he said. "I know," I answered, "but you didn't mean for me to find out either." I closed the door behind me, the sound final, like the end of a chapter I'd outgrown. Tara's Denver apartment became my sanctuary, filled with plants and sunlight, a stark contrast to the sterile quiet of the home I'd left. 3 days in, my phone buzzed with a notification that stopped me cold. Maya had reshared my post, "Some truths cut deeper than lies. Proud of you, Leia." The photo was spreading, liked by strangers, coworkers, even people in Owen's circles. Comments piled up. "You're stronger than they know. The mountains got your back." Then, a call from an unknown number. "Leia Ramirez, this is Hannah from Peak Pulse Marketing. Your story's making waves, and we've had clients asking about you. Interested in freelance work?" I nearly dropped my coffee. My post was shaking Owen's world. His firm lost a client over character concerns and opening doors for me. By the weekend, messages flooded my DMS. Women I'd never met shared their stories. My in-laws excluded me for years. Your post gave me courage. One hit close to home from Owen's cousin Claire. "I'm sorry I didn't speak up. Aunt Margaret planned it to keep you out." Owen didn't fight it. That truth hurt, but it freed me. I started yoga with Tara, finding peace in the stretch of my limbs. I took my niece to the zoo, her giggles healing something I didn't know was broken. Life without Owen wasn't empty, it was vibrant mine.